All right. What's up, guys? Jay Toll. And what I want to do today is talk to you about Shang Chi. Shang Chi, which, let's see. There we go. Here we go. Let's see. Shang Chi. And I don't know what it is. MPAA number 53309, from what I could tell. It was so small I could barely see it. Anyway, I'm going to throw this away after this. Give me a reason to get rid of it. Let me speak out on this movie and also get your thoughts as well. So I really enjoyed this movie. A lot of action scenes. It seemed like the reviews were just phenomenal. So I had to go see it. It's Marvel. They do a great job with action and comedy and the pacing. They move along so quick. The contrast there is some of these low budget, especially some zombie movies that I've watched, which I think it would be so much fun to make. I've watched a bunch of zombie movies, and unfortunately some of those are really low budget that there's like nothing going on for like 20 or 30 minutes in the movie. And so the Marvel movies, I've noticed that they, basically all of them, the pacing and the timing moves along. They move so quickly. It's only a few moments or a few minutes from scene to scene to scene. There's a new plot device, there's a new character, there's a new situation, there's something happening that is altering the story and moving it along every couple of moments. So I really love the pacing and just the acting and the action and the humor. It's a great time. Marvel specifically, they have done a great job at that. So Shang-Chi is no different. It was a lot of fun. The reviews are gonna tell you that and spoil it. No spoilers here, as best I can. I did want to comment on a few things though. Some of the action, I really enjoyed the fight choreography and the location of how they did it. Like, from the moment the movie starts, there is a bus sequence where Sean gets labeled later on as bus boy from this bus fight sequence where the sidelines guy pulls out his camera, as so many people do when there's like a fight or some kind of confrontation going on. Dude pulls his camera out and is just like, okay, I'm just gonna record. And so they get this fight sequence in this bus. It's over the top, it's crazy, but it's really enjoyable. There's another fight scene that is on this scaffolding on the side of this building. There's this building and this scaffolding. And my thoughts on that, what I was thinking when I was watching that is like, I put myself in his shoes and I could picture myself doing those movements. Swinging on the bar, swinging around, kicking people, like off the side of the building, all that kind of stuff. And the fight choreography was really well done. I just couldn't help but think of the contrast between like a fight sequence that's grounded in reality versus something that's pushed so over the top. It's enjoyable, it's really cool, but it's almost like, if I put myself in the shoes of just like the average person that has no martial arts training and they're just kind of watching something, like this is so far beyond what's realistic. And it's Marvel. They're getting into the supernatural stuff and all kinds of different things, crazy things going on, different dimensions, all kinds of people with different powers and stuff like that. So you have to kind of suspend your disbelief a little bit and just go to the movies, so to speak. But when I was watching that fight sequence on the side of this building, on this scaffolding, where they're like at this level and then dropping down and going over here, and like people are flying off the side of the building, I was just thinking, my gosh, like I really appreciate and respect I guess a good analogy or a good comparison is like John Wick. Just because that one's got a lot of attention, you probably know what I'm talking about. if you're watching this, you're probably familiar with that and have seen it, where it's like so realistic because they really trained in that. You know, they might have a little bit of movie magic where they're not actually punching each other, but it's basically real. Compared to something in Marvel, like with this, that is, you know, they push the boundaries, and the CGI is so well done. At this level now, it's not like 10 or 15 years ago where the CGI is kind of like, oh, that looks kind of fake. It's kind of like, no, that looks really real. But the level that you have to suspend your disbelief between like that fight sequence and more towards the end of the movie, they've got this quest they've got to go on. They've got this mission they've got to take care of. Turns into this Godzilla. You know, these monsters fighting each other, and you know, dudes riding on a dragon, and you know, I'm not going to spoil it or anything. I'm not going to go into the details too much, but like, you really have to suspend your disbelief of what's real when you're watching it. And so when I was watching those fight sequences, I was like, wow, you know, this is really well done, and I enjoyed it for what Marvel is, to just go to the movies and have a great time. I love that. I really love it. Yet I couldn't help but contrast like a realistic, grounded in reality fight scene that's just raw and real versus this kind of like expanded, inflated exaggeration that's like they push it so far because you know they have to, almost like push the boundaries, push the limits, and it was really well done. I just couldn't help but think of that, like, wow, okay. The next chapter in a Marvel movie. As far as like Shang Chi's story, it was a great origin story. I thought the characters and the actors did a really well done kind of job. They did a great job, and they had a little bit of romance in there, kind of hint to that. That was I enjoyed that, especially with his father and his mother. Just beautiful, just really beautiful. I enjoy history and studying martial arts, and so watching that kind of background of how his father and how his mother met and came together, and their story, I appreciated that. Just for what it is, a romance, a wonderful way that two people connect, and it's interesting that they connected in that way, you know, on a fight scene. So they had a good fight scene too. Getting into the later parts of the movie, you know, it's interesting. The analogy, I think, is a lot of movies kind of touch on this good versus evil, and they don't really go into maybe the truth of it, if I can say it that way. That you know, the father is trying to open this gate to what he thinks is like something awesome, but really it's kind of like the gates of hell. He's opening this portal to these demons, and this, you know, mega soul-sucking demon lord comes out, which is, you know, it's kind of like opening the gates of hell. And so they're attempting to stop him, but then, you know, there's this great protector, this dragon that is part of the fight that's going to, you know, stand against that. And, you know, even the tagline of the movie is talking about you can't run from your past. In church, it makes me think of recently in church, there was this baptism class, and one of the verses that really jumped out at me, you know, from a church point of view, is that sin has no dominion over you. If you've accepted Jesus, then sin has no dominion over you, as it at the root originally does, because we're in a fallen world and a fallen society from what Adam and Eve chose to do, put us all in this state of sin. So we're in this fallen mode, yet now because of Jesus, sin has no dominion over us. So our past, although, like the tagline of the movie, although our past is something that we can't run from, we can face it, and ideally we can be free. We can forgive people, we can be forgiven, we can heal, and we can have our past we can be free from that. And any kind of our past habits, our sin, our mistakes, we can heal from that by the grace of God, from His Son Jesus, that is truth, an absolute truth, which is what I found, and I've seen so many people have found. And so I kind of want to comment on that just a little bit. But it's interesting how they write this kind of analogy into the movies, yet there's some kind of truth behind it, maybe on a biblical level, that needs highlighting or maybe pointing out. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. There was an earlier part in the movie where the grandmother or somebody was talking about, they were getting items to, cigarettes and some drinks and some snacks or something to pass on to the afterlife. And, there's a lot of different cultures and different beliefs that have different ideas that do that kind of thing. Yet I would say that after we pass away, we're not taking any of that with us. There's not anything that anybody's gonna, try to set aside that, okay, this special pin is gonna go with me because somebody sets it aside for me. It's just not gonna happen. So they've got those ideas in there, and I just kind of want to contrast that with the truth that is in the Bible that I've found and that I've seen so many people find, and that's a good contrast to highlight also. Besides that, let's see what else I want to talk about. I don't know. The movie was a lot of fun, and it's totally worth going and seeing in theater. There was a guy that I was at church talking with about this, that it just made me really think about life. And he was like, "What do you mean?" And it's just interesting to me that we have so many choices in life, and what we do with it is up to us. And we better make sure those are good choices that are what you want out of your life. In the movie, the friends of Shang and Katie, the friends joked with them about, why don't you live up to your potential and go do these, go get a job that's worth your time. And, they were just in their mode of living their life and making fun of Shang and Katie for doing something different. They had more of a passion they were pursuing, I guess, so to speak. And a lot of people, I think, get locked into their habits. They get locked into their routines, and they don't ever go out and explore. They don't ever go out on adventure. They don't ever push the boundaries. They don't ever go and see what they can do. They don't ever really take a leap of faith, so to speak, on their dreams and really go for that. And so that's something that I talked to this guy at church, and he was like, "What do you mean it made you think about life?" And so it's like, I was just thinking, like, gosh, like martial arts. Like I've trained in several different martial arts, and I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface. But it's like, look what happened to Sean. It's like he's confronted with some guys that want to confront him, and he's able to deal with it because he was trained. It made me think of that. It made me think of, pursuing your dreams and going after what you feel is right in your heart. And, by the grace of God, may you be led in wisdom and discernment and truth about what those things are for your life, because that's what it made me think about my life. I watch these movies and think about, it's like, gosh, it's like, are you playing too small? Are you really going for what your heart and your soul is like yearning for your career, for your experiences, for your bucket list, for your spouse, something that could be really worth something that's just wonderful and awesome and just lovely. It's like, are you really setting that up as a priority, or are you just kind of letting that slide and being like, well, maybe I won't. It's like this YouTube channel. I see so many people that talk about wanting to do it and they don't do it. How hard is this that I hit record on my crummy camera that sucks, that's about 10 years old, when I hear people saying like, oh, I don't have the right camera. Oh, I don't have the right editing. There is no editing to this. There is no perfect camera. There is no perfect moment. There is now, and there is action to take on the things that we need to take action on. And so that's really what it made me think about. It was like, okay, you get trained, you do the things that you want to do and you pursue where it is that you want to go, the goals that you want to accomplish, and the things that you really want to see happen and done in your life, and you do them. And that is what I left that movie thinking of, and just fired up about, let's do this. Let's see where this thing goes. And I hope that challenges you to also think about this. If you haven't seen it in theaters, go see it. I don't think I gave any spoilers away. It's a lot of fun movie. And, share your comments. Like the video, subscribe if you want to see what's going on, and share something with me. There's so many people that watch these things and they don't share anything. You're not commenting something. Comment something. Like, what is it that you want to see? What is it you're thinking about? What is it your questions are? What is it you're excited about? What's your criticisms? What do you think this video sucks about? Like, say something. Like, I'm not doing this just for me. I'm doing this for you. I'm doing it to have fun for me, but I hope you have fun with it too. So, share something. Let's connect. Let's communicate. And let's have fun with this life. That's the only thing that we can do. I mean, we can serve God, we can do what's right, and we're going to totally go into that more. We're going to do this, YouTube or internet business kind of stuff, and have fun with that. It's a fun side project for me. And, we're going to see where this goes, but I'd like to see you come along too. So, if that resonates with you at all, speak up and connect. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace. See how long this turned out. My gosh, 16 minutes.